When approaching investors, it's crucial to offer them a big enough slice of a business to get them excited, while at the same time keeping enough back for yourself. It's a tricky balance, one that online entrepreneur Ben Hardiman hopes he's got right, as he faces the dragons.
My name's Ben Hardiman, and I'm here today looking for £250,000 worth of investment in return for a 7.5% equity stake in my company. Zapper is a website where you can enter barcodes from the backs of books, CDs, DVDs and computer games in return for instant cash valuations. Once you're happy, you would simply complete the trade and then we would post you your cheque. Since our launch in November 2011, we have grown to over 5,000 customers and currently enjoy monthly revenues in the region of £150,000. I've brought here today 58 items and the onward retail value of these goods is approximately £250, but we will pay the customer approximately £40 for them. And inherent in these is a net profit of in the region of £20. So I would now invite your questions. Thank you for listening to my pitch.
A somewhat sober pitch from Ben Hardiman, whose website offers the chance to sell your unwanted CDs, books and video games for a share of the profits. He needs a sizable cash injection of £250,000 for a rather precise 7.5% of the company. Duncan Bannatyne is first to question the ambitious entrepreneur.
I want to talk about the business. I did a quick calculation. £250,000 for 7.5%.
Yeah.
That comes to a valuation of £3,333,000, £333.33.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I need to do is find out why. So 2012, what turnover are you projecting?
It was 1.1 million. And the net profit around 35,000. In 2013, the turnover is projected at 8.3 million. Net profit 660,000. And 2014, 23 million. Net profit 2.1.
Well, you know, if you match these projections, you could well be worth £3,333,333.33.
Well, that's why I've come here with that conviction.
But how do I know you're going to make them?
There's no shortage of this inventory in people's houses, and the last 6 months' turnover has been in the region of £600,000 in total.
A confident rebuttal by Ben to the age-old Den issue of valuation. But has it satisfied Deborah Meaden?
Ben, hi.
Hi, Deborah.
How much money have you put in?
I've probably put about 50,000 in.
Do you have other investors?
We've got 3 shareholders at 10% each.
And how much did they put into the business?
They put in 50,000 in collectively.
So 17,000
That's
each
right.
to give them 10%. So how come these 3 investors put in £50,000 and now suddenly we have to buy in at a later stage at £250,000?
Well, the only easy answer is that I'd put myself in a vulnerable position by not organising the raising of finance in a timely fashion. So I brought in 3 minority shareholders who I knew would, in a mentoring capacity, help me in various different ways. There was
Are you out of the woods now?
Most definitely. The main difference now is that we've ridden that classic cash flow curve.
How much cash have you got in the business now?
We're running a sort of average balance of around about £8,000 or £9,000.
So you'd kind of say there's not a lot of cash in the business at the moment.
No, that's
so
right.
So how do you think that answers the question?
Well, no, the only
that has
easy
not bridged the gap between their valuation and this valuation, has it?
The figures that I've given you are, I will confess, assisted by an injection of investment.
So I'm having to pay for the difference that I'm going to make for the business. So I've got to give you £250,000, make a big difference to this business to make it worth the money that you're charging me for now. That doesn't sound like a really good way of me spending my money.
Well, if I had an opportunity to show you the projections of the business...
I'm sorry, this is very frustrating, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm actually quite insulted. You clearly think that those other investors are a different level to here. Your company was being valued at £160,000. You now value it at 3.3 million. I can't possibly invest in something like this, so I'm out.
Instant rejection from Peter Jones as the sure-footed businessman loses his first dragon. And Hilary Devey is not looking impressed either.
I think Peter's right, and I equally feel insulted.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear you say that.
Yeah, so my next words are, Ben, I'm out.
Ben, can I tell you where I am?
Yes, indeed.
I have to say, it is not a good strategy to come in front of 5 other investors and say, we value you so much less than the other investors that for the same percentage, we're going to charge you £250,000. That is not a good strategy when you're asking for an investment. And sometimes you just lose investment because you screw it up. And you just did. I'm out.
Ben, how do you think it's gone so far?
Pretty catastrophic.
I quite like the model. You know, have the 3 dragons who've gone out missed something?
I think they've missed the motivation of an entrepreneur who's spent the last 8 years building internet businesses. And just a little bit of background briefly. My previous business was Webflix. I mean, I started that business in the bedroom of my mum's house, and we sold our customers at a later date to our big competitor.
Well, what was the amount?
It was 150,000.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, if I invest £250,000 in this, what is my exit?
Well, we've had interest from a big American company. It was a bit early for us, but there are potential trade sale exits for this business.
I wish you'd come in and ask for less money, Ben. The valuation's wrong. And so therefore I've got to say I'm sorry, but I'm out.
Ben's business revelations restore some credibility to his pitch, but the result is still the same, and now 4 dragons are out. However, Theo Paphitis has been unusually quiet.
Now, Ben, I like the whole concept of it.
Yeah.
I'm a retailer. I know about retailing. I see the future in exactly where you're going. I'm just wondering whether you're just going to run out of steam.
One of the main reasons that you can have confidence is we've developed the business to scale in extraordinary ways, and it's all fully tested, robust technology.
Right, so I've got 250,000 quid in my pocket. What are you going to give me in return?
At least a 10-fold return on that investment in 3 years. One of the things I can demonstrate to you is that my nearest competitor, Music Magpie, they've been doing it since 2008 and now generate something in the region of 100 million a year in revenue. I mean, there's no shortage of people wanting to declutter.
But the problem is, you gave 30% for £50,000. And you're asking for such a huge amount here.
I still believe it to be a not unreasonable valuation at 3.5 million. But I'd be prepared to obviously move on that valuation and therefore the percentage.
What would you offer me?
I'd offer you 15%.
Okay. I'm going to make you an offer. Of the full £250,000, but I'm going to be wanting 30%.
I would be prepared to offer you 20% for that amount, if you would agree.
Believe you me, you don't know how much it hurts to offer you £250,000 for the same amount that somebody else paid £50,000.
Am I in a position to consult with Matt, my business partner?
Yeah, I think absolutely.
A tense exchange, but Ben finally gets the offer he badly needs. But at 4 times the equity he initially wanted to give away. Will his business partner be able to negotiate a better deal?
Hello, Matt, I'm Theo. I've just made Ben an offer. And Ben feels it's important that he discusses it with you.
Of course, yeah.
Before I tell you what that offer is, what I'd like to know, who is Matt?
Oh, well, I worked for British Aerospace for a while, and then I became a web developer. And then I moved on, I became a database expert. I've been working with Ben for 6 years now. I set up all the technology, design all the processes, and make sure everything works together.
Well, let me just say to you, I have asked for 30%.
Do you want to have a discussion about it?
Might be a good idea.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not gone very well. We've been slaughtered. What do you think we should do? So we would have 40%.
It's less than half control of the company.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
For us.
Okay, we'll go for 25 or nothing. Okay, let's go back. It would involve extra dilution of my own shares, but would you be prepared to move to 25%? Because I think
I would be prepared to stay at 30%.
We should consider that not just the money, but what Theo can do in terms of his contacts, his networks. What do you feel?
I feel we should accept the offer.
Okay.
Have we got a deal?
We got a deal.
We've got a deal.
Ben and Matt have done it.
Excellent.
The cash injection cost them more equity, but they leave with a highly experienced Dragon investor on board. So Ben and Matt have bagged the biggest investment ever from a single dragon. Of course, it must have been frustrating that Theo Paphitis wouldn't budge in his negotiations, but they've got their deal and they've made a little piece of Den history in the process.